I will introduce Mike as well. Mike is the Manager of Business Services here at the Polaris Centre, and as I said, he acts as a, just make sure that I don't miss anything in the chat window. So we'll start sharing the screen. Everyone can see that okay? Right. So the workshop today is building a Facebook audience, and this is a series of techniques that I have used either in my own business or encouraged other businesses that I've worked with to use over the last few years. And it is actively trying to grow the number of followers that your Facebook business page has. Okay. So why do you want a Facebook audience? Well, it seems fairly obvious. Pretty much the entire adult population of Australia is on Facebook. So, you know, you're talking 15 million people in Australia, north of 900,000 people in South Australia. So you know, that's everyone over the age of 13, more or less. And if you're the right type of business, the reasons why you want to be on Facebook is, you know, you might want to sell things, take bookings. Some Facebook pages are used almost exclusively just to generate leads, to harvest contact information, emails, phone numbers, and things like that, so that they can be followed up face-to-face. Some businesses use it very effectively to drive traffic to their websites or to their e-commerce stores. In one of my businesses, I use it almost exclusively for technical support. So it's a real-time channel to my customers. It means that I can talk to them through software that everyone has. Everyone's on Facebook. I don't need to make people jump through hoops to talk to them. Other businesses just use it as a way of keeping their customer base updated, to let them know what's going on in the business. But I guess the primary one is that Facebook is what's known as sticky. And that basically means that people are on it multiple times a day, and they spend, you know, 10, 20, 30 minutes a day on Facebook. And the statistic that I read is that people scroll through somewhere between 5 and 6 meters of news feed a day on Facebook, which, you know, on a device that size is quite a few screenfuls of information that they sit through. So how is Facebook going to give you an advantage if you use it properly? In my experience, the 400 or 500 businesses that I've seen in the last couple of years here is that very, very few of them take active steps to grow their audience on Facebook. They almost always go through the process of setting the business Facebook page up. Some of them even post to it, but most of them are stuck in that 100 to 500 fan range, and almost invariably those people are friends and family. Okay, so, you know, when I see 275 followers, that's your friends and family, really. So pushing a business in South Australia past that 500 point and up to 1,000 and 1,500 and 2,000 is something that in some cases happens out of pure luck, but mostly happens because people are working at it. And why do you want to do it? You want to create a fan base on Facebook. It's probably Facebook and Insta are two of the only ways that for very low cost that you can sort of create your own little horde of fanatics that love your business or love your product or love your food or whatever it is that you do. You can keep them talking to each other, keep them talking to you, keep them updated. It's much easier than newsletters and emails because, as I said before, Facebook is so sticky. They're there all the time. And if you do it right, they'll see your content much more easily than they will through other channels. You can talk to people in real time. As I said, I use it that way. You don't have to get people to install special software. They've got the software on their devices already. If you do it really well, you actually create your own, I wouldn't call them employees, but advocates or your own promoters or your own technical support staff. So if you can build up a group of dedicated fans, they will actually start answering questions for you. Okay, you'll post up content, newer people will ask questions, and your own fans will answer that stuff for you. They'll generate that content for you. They'll share pictures for you. They'll share links for you. They'll do your job for you. And it's awesome when they do that, because it means that your socials are ticking over while you're not even there. Which, you get up in the morning and people have posted questions and someone else has answered it for you. It's like happy days. So there is a bit of a word of warning. You need to have a reason for Facebook. So if it's sort of an unguided, unfocused activity and they're purely as a vanity metric, so you want 1,000 fans because your competitor's got 800, then you're probably wasting your time. You really need to be there for a purpose. You really I'd rather have 1,000 well-focused, properly selected fans on my Facebook page than 5,000 people in the wrong country or 5,000 people that aren't interested in what I post. So you've got to have a purpose. You've got to target the right people. You've got to make sure to keep them happy. There's no point spending time and effort and resources building up a well-focused fan base and then to spend 6 months bombarding them with sales pitches. They'll stop seeing your content and they'll unfollow you. You've got to be consistent. That means posting consistently, posting consistent quality of content, and consistently responding to people. If you're responsive and then you disappear for a week, people will notice and they get upset. They're used to being answered. And you have to prepare for trouble. And what do I mean by that? I mean that, and this has happened to me, you get people that are on the terps at 2 o'clock in the morning posting on your Facebook page, and you will wake up to foul language or negative reviews or just stuff that you don't understand. And you have to be ready for that and be prepared to respond to it in an appropriate fashion. And that means not getting into arguments, not getting upset, not responding in ways that you'll regret later. My wife and I have a rule in our house, is that if we're posting to any of our Facebook business channels, if we feel like we have to ask the other one, is it okay that I post this? The answer is always no. Okay, you have to be 100% sure about what you're posting. So this is how I've visualised how you get people following your Facebook page. Now, I know the text is pretty small here, but this will be included in the PDF that you get emailed. And really, this is just summarising all the techniques that I'm running through in the rest of this session and where you're going to get your audience from. And you're going to get them from people that you already know. You're going to get them from people or contacts that you make while you've got an active Facebook page. You're going to poach them from other audiences on Facebook. And then you're going to get them from out there in the world, whether that be the physical world or the sort of, universe of people on Facebook. And each of the methods that we're going to run through this evening grabs people from one of those groups. So this is how we all get started. I've got a great idea. I'm going to sell purple widgets on eBay. I'll spend $100 on 99 designs and get a logo and set up a website, get an eBay channel up and running. And I tell all my friends and family, and they tell everyone, and we all get, like I said, somewhere between 150 and 500 followers of our Facebook page, which is great from a numerical point of view, but the chances are that your mum and dad and your brothers and sisters and your cousins and aren't going to buy that much stuff off of you. So while it's good to get yourself started, they're usually not an engaged audience for you. The next source of obvious information or obvious contacts is existing customers. So you need to just tell your customers, the customers that you already have, that you're now on Facebook and that they should come and follow you because, you know, you share user information, you share tips and tricks, or you allow them to leave reviews, or whatever it happens to be. You've got to come up with something to entice them in. Sorry, we've just got a couple of messages here. Nice graphic, thanks, Mike. What do you think about Facebook boosting posts for a professional services business? Yeah, we'll cover it later. Okay, so we do cover that really quickly. I'll try to remember when I get to that point to focus that on professional services, all right, and what I think about that. Everyone's got a mailing list, so you can pump it out through your mailing list, and everyone's got a network of professional contacts that they can talk to. So people you used to work with, current colleagues, all that sort of stuff. So this is probably the easiest way to get started, is to just sit down and have a think about everyone that you can tell. You got to tell the new people or the new customers that you meet, or the new potential customers. So in our software business, we have a very strong onboarding process, which is that when everyone purchases one of our products, if it's a new purchase or a new sign up, then they get a series of emails encouraging them to sign up to our newsletter service and to sign up to our social channels, and explaining to them why they would want to do so. It's all automated. If you're using a newsletter system like MailChimp, you can have rules set up that people that sign up get automatic emails, and you can encourage them over to your Facebook page. All right. Physical marketing. So good old-fashioned physical marketing, business cards, vehicle sign writing, shop sign writing, flyers in store, thank you cards in shipped packages. They should all be branded clearly with your social channels. Try to think about how you can entice people to follow you on social. So it's a fairly standard technique to encourage someone to sign up with a 5% discount voucher. Subscribe to Facebook, get 5% off your next purchase. If we're in our shop and we're clearly having a good time with someone, they're enjoying themselves. I'm just looking for a flyer. I don't have one here, but we've got some DL flyers printed up. If they're clearly happy, they've had a good time, we will hand them one of those, and it's got our social channels on there. We'll ask them to follow us on Facebook. Okay, and it's surprising how many followers we pick up that way. And another obvious way is if you're holding events and workshops, is to promote your socials during those workshops. So everyone go and follow the Polaris Centre on Facebook, please. We post up weekly digital marketing tips, and we have lots of free events, and it's going to be the easiest way for you to know what's going on at Polaris and what you might find useful in the future. So, you know, pretty shameless plug just there, but if we can pick up a couple of followers, then it's been well worth the effort for us. Promote through your other digital channels. The obvious one here is links on websites. Everyone's got social icons on their websites. A slightly more active way of doing that is to actually have social widgets on your website so that people can actually see what's going on your social channels. If you use WordPress or Wix or Squarespace or one of those common content management systems, you'll find that there are social widgets like that available out of the box that you can just include on your homepage or wherever that happens to be. They can be a really neat way of sending traffic to your social channels. Promote it through other channels. We built our first couple hundred followers on Insta by promoting our Insta channel through Facebook. Lots of people do it the other way around. They start on Insta and then move over to Facebook later, and they do exactly the same thing. They promote things that way. If you're on Google My Business, you can include your social links in your Google My Business listing. Google My Business is Google's free business listing service. Is everyone here on Google My Business? And apologies to anyone who's talked to me before and heard me say this before, but if you're not, you should be. It's available at business.google.com, and that allows you to get onto Google Maps effectively. So when you're searching for a plumber near me and you get those listings of plumbers that are near you, that's Google Business. People can access your social channels directly through that listing. So make them available. Electronic newsletters, so promotion of your social channels through your EDMs or your newsletters. Most MailChimp templates, the out-of-the-box free templates, include a spot for social links. So put them in there. If from time to time you decide to promote those social links explicitly in those newsletters, then there's nothing wrong with that either. And these all sound silly, but I can guarantee you they work. Over time, you pick up followers, 1 or 2 or 3 a week this way. And setting these things up is a once effort. And from then on, it is consistently working for you. Social channels in your email footers. It's amazing how many people don't have them. Okay, it's easy to set up, whether you use Outlook or Gmail. You can customize your footers and embed your links in there. This is probably the trickiest way of picking up followers to your Facebook audience, and that's to somehow get exposure through other people's Facebook channels, whether that be personal channels or whether it be business channels or whether it be groups. But for me, it is one of the most powerful ways of doing so, because often if you choose the right channels, you target the right people. The first idea here is to leverage off of employees. And this is an example I use a lot, but there's a pub in town called the Duke of Brunswick, and they have periodic employee posting days where the owner of the business hands over posting rights of her Facebook channel to an employee. And the employee posts up simply what is going on through their day on their Facebook channel. These people are usually, in their 20s. They've got hundreds, if not thousands of people that follow them on Facebook. They tell their family, they tell their friends, they say, hey, I'm going to be in charge of the Duke of Brunswick channel today. And they pick up followers doing that all the time. As a business owner, there's 2 things that you need to be happy about here. One is that, that perhaps that strong messaging that you're trying to control that through your social channels is going to be perhaps a bit different on that day because it's not you doing the posting. And the second is that, perhaps something's going to get out that you're not going to be 100% happy with. So you either A, need to take the risk, or B, you run all those posts through an editing process first, through an approval process. I would caution, if you do that second one, that it kind of loses the spontaneity and the interest if you go down that path. Work with suppliers. If you buy products from suppliers and you on-sell them or use them in the store, often those suppliers are happy to promote their resellers periodically. So not all the time, but from time to time. And the key here is to understand what you can provide for them. What are they going to get out of it? So, if you've only got 30 followers on Facebook or 100 followers, then perhaps they're not going to be that interested in working with you that often. But if you get to that 1,000 or 2,000 and you're really talking to a group of people, then you may well find that approaching your suppliers from time to time, they will give you exposure on their channels. And it's the same with what I call collaborators or influencers. So the classic example here is if you're a bed and breakfast, and I worked with a bed and breakfast in Lobethal who did this really well. He went around and wrote really good reviews, honest reviews of local pubs and restaurants and cafes, published them to his website, wrote a little summary on his Facebook page, and then he would tag the pub owner, for example, or the restaurant owner, ring them up and say, oh, hi, Brian, just letting you know, I've just put a Facebook review, a review of your business up on our Facebook channels. It'd be really cool if you could share it. And he'd pick up 4 or 5 shares a month doing that and get exposure on other Facebook pages that might have 10 or 20 times the number of followers that he did. It's quite effective, requires a bit of work on your behalf. And as I said, you need to be able to provide the other party with some sort of value to make them want to get involved. In some markets, this is called influencers, I guess. And, you know, what are influencers interested in? Money. Okay, that's what you can do for them that they're interested in is money. And effectively what you're doing then is paying them to get exposure to their audience. Okay, so collaborators, I believe, you're compensating them in kind, whereas influencers, you're compensating them with goods or services or money. Okay. This last one here is Facebook groups. I'm not sure who here is active in Facebook groups, but there are many tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people in Australia that are active on Facebook groups. And because the groups are free form, you can create a group about whatever you like. There are groups for pretty much everything that you can think of. So I'm out in the northeastern suburbs and there are 2 big Tea Tree Gully ratepayer groups with tens of thousands of members. There's a big Tea Tree Gully buy-sell group with 80 or 90,000 members. There's at least 10 or 15 buy-sell trade groups out on the north side of town here. There's some big ones down south as well. So they're sort of locality-based groups. There's interest-based groups, so hobbies, activities, fishing, camping, boating, collecting, anything you like really, beauty tips, real estate investing groups. And these are groups of anywhere from sort of 100 or 200 people to 10, 20, 100,000 people that can be either A, geographically relevant to where you are, or B, interested in your products and services. So a bit of research on your part required here is, you know, who is a person that's going to be interested in your products and services? Does their location matter? And then spending the time on Facebook, identifying these groups, joining up, working out what goes on there. Do they allow commercial posting? Do they allow group sponsorships? How can you get involved? So 3 obvious ways are some of these groups allow commercial posting so you can actually promote your business through them. And I don't know if anyone knows of Paracombe Premium Perry. They're a cider and pear cider manufacturer up in the hills. They do incredibly well promoting their business through all the northeastern residents groups. And they don't even post as themselves. The owner posts under his own name. And he does incredibly well out of that. You can be an expert. And what do I mean by an expert? If there's an interest group, so a group of people that's interested in the product or service that you sell, you get in there and you answer their questions. Okay, you provide useful advice, you provide useful information, you get yourself known, you take part, and you'll find that in time, you will actually start gathering referrals from that group. Because people go to these groups and say, oh, I'm looking for someone to do X. Facebook actually has that functionality built into it where you can ask for a referral. And people go to various groups, they ask for a referral. If you've got a profile there and you've got a good reputation, then you will gather referrals that way. Okay, we get 1 or 2 a month that way. And that's because, you know, we take a few minutes a day to get involved, answer some questions. Nice dog, Toby. The final one is group sponsorship. Now, I'm not 100% certain whether this is within Facebook's terms and conditions or not, but a large number of the groups that, oh, Michaela's got a dog too. I should have brought my dog. A lot of these groups are run by a group of administrators that do allow group sponsorships. So, you know, X and X group sponsored by Marks Plumbing Proprietary Limited. If they don't allow that, they'll actually have weekly competitions, and the competitions are sponsored by a business, and the business supplies a prize. So these are a great way of getting exposure to a group of people in return for not very much money most of the time. The groups that we sponsor, we donate about $15 worth of prizes to 3 or 4 groups a month, and we get exposure to 15 or 20,000 people that way, which for us is super good value. I think Facebook groups are fantastic, and not enough businesses use them well. If you remember that diagram we had at the beginning, and we had our Facebook audience in the middle, and then over on the right-hand side, we had sort of the entire universe of Facebook users. Reaching out into that universe of Facebook users and getting them back, sorry, I keep banging the microphone, getting them back to your Facebook page is how you create sustainable growth to your Facebook audience. And creating engaging content for your current audience is how you can, one way of reaching back into that universe of people on Facebook. And the reason for that is, and I'm sure most of you have seen this, if you're friends with someone on Facebook and they are engaging with a business Facebook page regularly, sometimes you will get notifications that they're doing so, especially if your interest set is aligned to theirs, because Facebook's algorithm is such that it knows what you're interested in, it knows what they're interested in, and if it perceives what they're talking about is something that you might be interested in, then you may well see notifications of that. Okay, so to maximize your chances of those sort of notifications spreading out there, you need to be human, you need to have a personality. So find a, yes, that's exactly right. Pets are definitely the winners. Our dog is insane when we're home. She just can't get over it. You've got to find a voice for your social channel. So if it's sort of dry corporate, then you're probably in trouble. You're probably in trouble because that sort of doesn't fly on Facebook. People use Facebook for a laugh, bit of information, perhaps to learn something. You know, they're not really there for corporate speak. So on our business Facebook page, our retail business, I tend to just sort of let my slightly warped sense of humour show through, and I try to keep people engaged with that. Okay, rather than just talking about new releases all the time, or you know, all that sort of boring stuff. Things that have amused me during the day, or things that are going on that are amusing, or things that they might find interesting, I share about that. Posting consistently, people want to see you speak. They don't want, you know, one post a week, or it'll just go past and they won't notice it. You want to post when your audience is online. But again, the algorithm is such that you tend to see posts that are posted around the time that you're looking on Facebook. You need to think mobile. What does that mean? It means that, you know, 90% of people hold their device this way when they're looking at socials. So your beautiful 16:9 video that you're shooting is like this tiny little strip here, and people can't really see it. So, you know, even though everyone says don't shoot in 4:3, it actually works better for mobile. And for some businesses, almost all of their Facebook traffic will be on mobile. So ours is over 90% is mobile traffic. We get almost no people on desktop at all. Vary your content, so don't post up the same stuff all the time. Don't always post pictures, don't always post videos, don't always share links, don't always post memes. You got to keep people interested. If people are just seeing the same stuff all the time, then they disengage. And the algorithm is such that the less people look at your posts, the less they will see them, the less Facebook will show it to them. This last one is probably the most important point on this slide. Create your own content. There's no point lifting memes from everywhere and just posting that. There's no point trolling around doing Google searches, finding useful information and sharing other people's links. I know that is the easiest way of doing it, which is, I guess, why everyone does it. But it also means that people are not getting a real sense of who you are. They're not getting a sense of what's going on in your day. They're not getting a sense of what your business is doing. They're not getting a sense of what you know. You need to create your own stuff. There's just no getting around it. Even if you contract an agency to do posting for you, sometimes it's really obvious when you've done so. Because even though it might all be, different content, you can tell that a lot of the time you can tell that it's not really the business owner that's making the posts. So for us little one-person businesses or 2 people or 3 people, I think to get the most value, you need to do it yourself. Social media, social. So what does that mean? It means when you post things up and people respond, answer them. Like what they say. Respond to them, thank them. We talked about that organic reach, sort of your posts getting out there to the world. Every time you respond to someone on Facebook, there is a chance that that reach will go out to their friends. So engage them in a conversation. Think about what posts you can make that generate user responses or generate user content. It's no surprise that most of the big media channels on Facebook ask you to share pictures of what's going on or using their product or whatever that happens to be. Number one, they get the consumers to do their work for them. And number two, it allows the organic reach of those posts to sort of boom. And that's what we're always looking for on social, is improving that organic reach. Don't always be selling stuff. There's nothing surer to make people unfollow your channel than to always be trying to get bookings or always trying to sell slots in workshops or to always be selling products or to always be trying to generate leads. That's not why people are on Facebook. They're not there to be bombarded. They like I said, they want to be amused. They want to be interested. They want to be educated. And this final one here is, I think, dollar for dollar, the best way of increasing the reach of your posts and gathering followers from that. Oh, I've missed something. Invite. Has everyone used the invite function on Facebook? Yeah. For organic reach, it's how you will gather the most followers. So if you don't know, as I said, your organic reach, you get out there to people that aren't already following your page. If they interact with your post, if they like it or comment on it, then Facebook will actually notify you that they've done so, and you can actually invite them to like your page. So right now, this is how we pick up almost all of our followers in our Facebook page. You can either sit there on Friday nights and run through all of your posts and invite everyone manually, or there are plugins on various browsers that will do that job for you. That'll go through all of your posts and troll through and invite everyone manually. And about half the people that we invite end up following our page. It's, it's slow, but it works. Competitions, dollar for dollar, I think, are the best way of maximising organic reach. You got to use them at the right time. What does that mean? It means, what are they called? The one on Chrome is called invite post likers to Facebook. Okay, that's what the one on Chrome is called, and that's the one that I use, and it works really well. So if you don't know how to install a plugin on Chrome, if you click on the little 3 dot icon on the top right hand side on your computer and then go to settings, it'll be under there. Okay, so I'm just looking on the other monitor at my Chrome window. When's the time right for competitions? When your page has enough followers already, because the whole idea of competitions is twofold. One is to generate user content, so prompt responses and post likes, and the other is to get shares. And this is where competitions really go off, is getting shares. And you want to make sure that you've got that sort of critical mass of people so that those number of shares are maximized. Because, you know, while in an ideal world you offer up competitions to keep your current followers happy, in reality what you want to do is use it to grab in new followers from out there. And those shares are how you do that. So, you know, my rule of thumb is about 1,000 followers. You want to get to 1,000 followers before you start thinking about competitions. So you got to make sure the prizes are relevant. That means probably no movie tickets. So you got to think about what prizes you can offer that are going to get the right people interested in. You know, they are mostly scams, Marty. That's right. No, you're not allowed to give away alcohol. Give away prizes that are relevant. Yeah, boo. That's right. Maybe you could drink alcohol while you're setting up the competition. Maybe that'd be better. Give away a prize that's relevant to the type of people that you want following your page. Okay, so if you're a hairdresser, then give away hair care products. If you're a beauty therapist, give away products that are relevant in that market. If you're a fishing shop, give away fishing gear. I definitely wouldn't give away movie tickets because that'll just attract everyone and they're not necessarily interested in what it is that you sell longer term. You're allowed to ask for comments and likes in a competition. You're not allowed to ask for shares. It's against Facebook's terms and conditions. But you'll get them. You got to make sure that you comply with local requirements, local gaming requirements. And that usually means having a sort of fixed terms and conditions post somewhere and using an appropriate random number generator to select the winner. You can just do it yourself if you like through posts, a sticky post or whatever. Alternatively, there are a number of apps on Facebook that you can run the competitions through. Yeah, Michaela, you do see it, but it is specifically against Facebook's terms and conditions. You know, people get away with it, but all it takes is one business to report you to Facebook and you'll lose your competition post. They'll just delete it and you know, you've got to do it again. So as I said, do it yourself or do it through apps. Doing it through apps can be useful because they take care of all the entries and the selection of the winner. If you do it yourself, you've got to keep track of all the entries and, you know, work it all out yourself. We just cut and paste everything to Excel and delete out all the duplicates, and we do it that way. It's pretty easy, but I've seen people doing it through apps and that works pretty well too. And you've got to leverage the whole process. What does that mean? Don't just say, here's a competition and draw a winner and you're done. Generate some anticipation up to the competition. Perhaps have a poll with, you know, a group of 3 prizes. Let people pick which prize. Make sure you video the draw. Make sure you talk about it on your website. Make sure you talk about it on your other social channels. Talk about it in your newsletter. You know, get maximum bang for buck out of this. For us, this has been by far the cheapest cost per acquisition way of getting followers to our page, usually less than 10 cents a follower, and they stay around. We don't get many unfollows. Yep. So this is the other way that you reach either that group of the universe of Facebook users out there, or reaching people out there on the internet that happen to be Facebook users. So Facebook advertising isn't, I'm pretty sure I've seen wineries give away alcohol. Sorry, just wondering, because that'd be really good for my prize pack for my business. I'll check Facebook's terms and conditions for you tomorrow, Sandra. Okay. I know you're not allowed to sell wine or alcohol on Facebook, and I'd be surprised if you're allowed to give it away. But now that I think about it, I think I've seen it as well. I'll check their terms and conditions and get back to you. Facebook advertising. Boosting posts is, like, Facebook advertising is this big, and boosting posts is about that much, just my end of my fingernail there. It's the part of Facebook advertising that you can see through the normal user interface of Facebook. There's a whole back end of Facebook, which some of you may or may not have seen, called the Facebook Business Manager. And there's a huge advertising platform buried back there. If you're not on Facebook Business Manager, get onto it and start playing around with the Ads Manager. There's really two types of ads that you're going to want to run to try and get followers. The first one is what's called a post engagement ad, and that is a boosted post. A boosted post is a post engagement ad. They just sort of hide all the complexity from you when you're boosting a post. But if you get into the back end, it's called a post engagement ad. The second type of ad is what's called a page engagement ad, and that is running ads specifically to gather follows or gather likes. A post engagement ad is run specifically to get engagements on a post. That's shares, comments, or reactions. Page engagement ad is specifically to gather page likes or page follows. They are the two what's called marketing objectives of those two different types of ads. The reason why I say marketing objectives, when you get into the Facebook Ad Manager, they call these things marketing objectives. There's about 15 different objectives in the back end, but these are the two main ones that you will use to gather page followers. So post engagement or boosting potentially has a very low cost per acquisition, so cost per page follow or page like. Facebook's algorithm is such that yes, there absolutely are. And that's, Fiona's just asked a question there, it's a good question, about the types of businesses that do better on Facebook. And it's pretty obvious when you think about why some businesses do better, when you think about how we use Facebook. So I use Facebook to communicate with my friends and family, to tell terrible dad jokes, and to keep abreast of all of my hobbies and interests and what's going on in my local area. So the types of businesses that I interact on Facebook are people who engage with my hobbies or interests, or local businesses that I happen to see in local residents groups that are offering a service that I need at that moment. Okay. If you think about a lawyer, for example, you're very unlikely to be browsing Facebook and looking at dog videos and see a lawyer ad and go, oh, geez, I need one of those. You know, it's very unlikely. So, you know, it's pretty obvious that a lawyer isn't going to perform as well, whereas camping gear is probably going to perform a lot better. So that's a great question, Fiona. Thank you for that. So post engagement ads will be shown to people who engage with posts more. That's what Facebook's algorithm does. And my opinion about running post engagement ads or boosting posts is boost a post that has already performed well to your current audience. So if you post something and you get great organic reach from your current audience, then it may well be worth boosting that post out to the wider world. Because if the current people love it, then there's a good chance the other people will love it. If the current people hate it, why on earth do you think everyone out there in internet land is going to love it? All you're going to end up doing is giving Facebook $10 or $20 or $30, and you're going to left scratching your head about why anyone bothers boosting posts. So we boost maybe one post a month, and it's because we post something up on our business page, and in 20 minutes it's got 15 shares, 27 comments, 1,500 interactions, and we go, oh, well, this is going off. We'll throw $10 at it. We'll throw $20 at it. And then we use that post invite function to invite everyone out there in the world that has interacted with the post that doesn't already follow our page. And the cost per acquisition for us has been anywhere between 10 and 40 cents per acquisition with this sort of approach. Sometimes it does really, really well. Other times, yeah, but certainly better than boosting, you know, some sort of product ad, or boosting a workshop link, or boosting some, you know, something really boring that no one on Facebook cares about. So advertise great content that already has good organic reach. Be responsive. So if there's people out there that don't already follow your page that are asking questions, then answer their questions and make use of that invite function. Are there publicly available statistics on the type of industry categories that are more successful advertising on Facebook? There are, but they're not publicly available. They're all behind paywalls. What sort of, I guess, Marty, if you wanted to perhaps shoot me across an email about what business you're in, I could give you my thoughts on that. So page engagement ad is the type of ad that has this marketing objective to get people to follow your page or like your page. Again, the algorithm will tend to show these ads to people who engage with pages more often. Think mobile. So the reason why I say think mobile is, in my experience, videos tend to do better for page engagement ads. And that's because as you're sort of scrolling through the news feed, videos tend to catch the eye. So we use a lot of 4:3 aspect videos to run page engagement ads, and sometimes they are actual 15-second videos that we record ourselves. Other times they're what Facebook calls video templates. And when you get into the advertising backend, you can select from a number of these video templates, give Facebook some still images, and it creates really interesting transitions and animates the videos, the pictures, so they move from side to side or zoom in and out, text transitions, branding, logos, all that sort of stuff. And we've had pretty good luck with that sort of stuff. Some of our pre-recorded stuff does better, but the templates are sort of a really easy way of creating something that grabs people's attention. And they're really short, 7 to 10 seconds, because most people watch, like the average video view length on Facebook is about 7 seconds. Even for 2-minute videos, it's about 7 seconds. So you're kind of wasting your time if you do it much longer than that. If you're going to run this sort of campaign, monitor your cost per engagement. So what we do is we create a number of new ads, and then we'll run them at $2 a day, and we'll go back and review weekly what the cost per engagement is, switch off the ones that aren't doing anything, and the ones that are doing well, we'll bump up the budget on those. The other reason why you want to monitor the cost per engagement is that you'll find that the cost per engagement sort of starts low like this, and then it starts going up. And the reason for that is that if you're targeting your ad at a small group of people, we'll talk about targeting next, it actually doesn't take that long before a significant percentage of people have seen your ad already. And the more they see it, obviously the less likely they are to engage with your page. We try to only keep a campaign running for about 2 to 3 weeks, and then we switch it over to something else, because we just see it all the time. It starts off low and then it just goes up like that. So this is what I'm saying here about rotating your ads and ad blindness. People stop seeing it. And Facebook actually has a function in there that you can ask them to stop showing you an ad because it's too repetitive. Ad audiences are different to your page audience, but they are still a group of Facebook users. You've got to make sure that you target the right people. There's no point targeting people in India if you're a restaurant in Australia. There's no point targeting people internationally if you don't ship internationally. There's no point targeting men if you sell a product for women. There's no point targeting people that are age 60 and over, if your product's primarily used people under 30. Facebook even, they know a creepily large amount about you, so you can select audiences based on interests, age, location, demographics, life events, hobbies, job titles. There's just everything that you can think of. So, you know, if you want to target women aged 31 to 40 that are interested in dogs but aren't interested in cats and live within 8 kilometres of Golden Grove, then you can definitely do that. That's the kind of sort of level of detail you can get down to. People that are interested in cats and not interested in dogs that are about to turn 50, you could do that if you wanted to. So I use this to build up interesting little audiences in different cities that are interested in slightly different things. And the reason for that is that I can tailor the ads based on what interests I'm targeting. Men respond to different videos than women, so you can trial different videos on different genders, and so on and so forth. You can target your current fans. You're generally, a post on Facebook will only be shown to somewhere between 5 and 20% of your page followers or your page likers. You can reach 100% of them by creating an audience that is your current page followers. If you own more than one page, you can grab all of those followers into one advertising audience and show an ad to all of them. You can create what's called a custom audience, and a custom audience is based on a number of things, but the key ones that I've listed off here are traffic to your website. Who here has been looking at a product on a website and then the next day seen ads for that product on Facebook? So that's the Facebook pixel. I can see Toby nodding there. That's the Facebook pixel. So those people are showing an ad to an audience that is built from Facebook, from website traffic. It can be as broad as all of your website traffic, or let's say you run an e-commerce store, you can put a different pixel on different product categories and show different ads to people based on what products they're interested in. Watch ads to people that are interested in watches, shoes to the people that are interested in shoes, you know, that sort of stuff. You can dump an email list into Facebook and build an audience from that, because Facebook knows everything about you anyway, including your email address. You can build an audience based on the number of people that have viewed a video that you posted for more than 3 seconds. That's a classic way of building a lead funnel on Facebook. Lots of marketing companies will show a long form video, and then if you watch more than a minute of it or something, they'll actually pitch other ads at you, simply because they believe that if you've watched that much of the video, then you're likely to be more interested in their products. Page interactions. That basically means everyone in the last 6 months who's had something to do with your business page. They might have shared a post, liked a post, commented on a post, whatever that is. You can also create what's called a lookalike audience, and that takes a saved audience, we talked about, or a custom audience or saved audience that we talked about before, and then creates a model of Facebook users that match that saved audience. So your saved audience might only have 3,000 people in it, but you know, the 46% is male, the average age is 32.3, they live within so many kilometres of the CBD of Adelaide. Facebook can use that audience as a model to create what's called a lookalike, and you can pitch your ads at that lookalike audience. Oh, I've doubled up on videos there. We talked about videos. You can run ads based on how people fill in lead forms, so name, address, phone number. Lots of real estate companies do that, and mortgage businesses. And you can also run ads on Facebook for people who've looked at your Insta page, because Facebook and Insta are the same thing. So that's the ways. That's how we get followers to our page from that group of audiences that we talked about before. You know, whether they be current followers of your page, or whether they be people out there in Facebook land. And I'll just unshared the screen because I don't know what I'm doing. we'll just look at the last slide. So this just quickly summarises what we went through. There's all the different things that you could possibly do. Families, friends, contacts, current customers, email list, empower your staff, other pages that you can collaborate with, influencers, suppliers, customers, groups on Facebook. Then there's Facebook. Okay, I'll answer Fiona's question in a minute. And then there's the different types of advertising. So page engagement, the type of content that you're posting, maximising organic reach, competitions, and then all the different types of Facebook advertising. So that's the end of the presentation. I'll just answer Fiona's question here, which is there a price point for a product or service that is generally better to advertise on Facebook, i.e. under 20 or free giveaway? Do Facebook ads work as well? I think that's really got to do more with the lead funnel, Fiona, and then also how motivated the customers are to buy those products. We have had excellent results selling out products that are worth $10 in an hour. And then we've posted up products that are worth $1,000 that have sold in 5 seconds. I think if you've got a long lead time, so if the decision-making process is long, it's probably not going to work as well on Facebook. And again, it comes down to what the person's mindset is when they're purchasing a product of that type, and does that gel well with how they're thinking when they're on Facebook. So has anyone else got any questions? No, I'll unmute everyone. I'll go on.
Mark, I have to get going, so I have a quick question. Thank
worries,
you
Laura.
for taking us through this. That was great. I'm
worries, Laura.
actually here because my husband's an electrician
Mm-hmm.
and I'm the administrator
Mm-hmm.
of his Facebook page, and
Mhm.
I've paid for advertising before. And you're right, most of the, people that like his page are friends or family or people who've had services and, become a friend of the page. I have paid, but I haven't had much success with the paid advertising.
I'm not surprised. Some
Yeah,
businesses, you have to think about different ways of doing this. And in my experience, tradespeople do best with some sort of group marketing and building up a profile that way amongst people that are located where you want them to be.
Yeah.
Simply because people aren't using Facebook, as I said a couple of times, as they're trolling through their newsfeed. They're generally not thinking about a plumber or an electrician or a gas fitter or things like that. They're off somewhere else. Okay, their mind is off somewhere else. Do people go to local residents groups and ask for referrals? Absolutely, absolutely. So I would have thought that a good thing for you to do straight away would be to identify some groups that you can post into that allow regular posting, and think about building up a profile there. If you happen to see any posts that are asking sort of advice about, what is he, an electrician? Is that right?
Yes.
Advice about electrical things, then, tag him and get him in there to answer them and build up a profile that way. There's
Great advice.
Yeah, there's a computer shop in Happy Hope Valley called Blue Mouse Computers, and their owner is very active on local groups, just answering technical questions and things like that. And the number of referrals that he gets is insane. Everyone recommends it. Whenever someone asks a computer question, there's like people lining up to recommend him. So
that's great advice. Thank you so much.
No worries.
All right, I'll check out. Thank you once again.
Okay,
see you guys.
Okay.
All right, bye.
Bye. So anyone else got any questions?
Michaela's got a hand up. Yep, there she goes.
Go on, Michaela.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. Yes, so my question was, and I was paying attention the whole time, so excuse me if my phone was glowing in my face. I promise you I was listening to you, Mark. I just had to reply to comments.
That's all right.
Not that I'm overwhelmed with so much Facebook activity, but I just But my question was in regards to your point on boosting a post for no longer than, 2 or 3 weeks maybe before it starts getting stale.
Mhm.
We have, I look after a marketing initiative that represents South Australian fruit and veg shops, local family fruit and veg shops called Pick a Local, Pick SA, plug. And
Good job. Everyone go and follow them.
My question is in regards to finding a post that is working really well with boosting. So I've made a group or an audience that are interested in fresh local produce that live in the vicinity of the Adelaide Hills for a post that's regarding an Adelaide Hills grower. And it's been doing so well. Each week we keep boosting and just keeps doing well. So
Fantastic.
I wonder, are there exemption or are there...
Happy days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If something's if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
for
Happy
now,
days. Yeah.
until we see a decline, do you think there's a problem in, like, I don't want to bother people, like you said, you don't want people to get
No.
sick of...
So you just, like, I don't know how big the audience is that you're showing it to, but how big is the audience manager showing that audience is that you're boosting it to?
I want to say 80K.
Yeah. So I think you'd probably be all right for 2 or 3
Yeah.
months with that.
Oh,
We
great.
try
Let's keep
to
doing it then.
we try to keep things under 15,000, and that sort of 2 to 4 week mark is about where we see a drop off every time.
Okay. So, and I know obviously Facebook goes, oh, good job. Like, you've got a defined audience sort of thing. What is the recommend? So you're happy with 15K?
Less than 30,000 is usually a good
A sweet
number.
spot. And why is that?
Because usually that means that you've put a good amount of thought into segmenting that market, and you actually have potential for showing different ad copy to slightly different groups, for example. So, if it's 80,000, then, and this is completely sexist, but if it's 80,000, then split it into men and women and try different copy for each gender, and see if you get a better cost per acquisition that way. Because, men like to think they know everything. So you explain to them all the technical reasons about why this is all better, and, we all feel smarter about ourselves, and perhaps we engage with it a bit more. Whereas perhaps the females are more interested about belonging to a collective and a group and being involved, and you could create some copy around that.
Good.
So just think about differences in people. That's how I try to do it.
Yep.
Okay.
Noted. Thank you. Yep.
Anyone else? No? So from here, if you want to get into Facebook advertising, there's a thing called Facebook Blueprint. It used to be called Facebook University, but it is a series of short videos and questionnaires and quizzes and things like that bring you up to speed on the advertising platform in Facebook fairly well. It doesn't take too long. Get you used to all the terminology, and I think it's quite good. And if your advertising budget is small, there's no real reason why you can't just do it yourself. You can reach out to service providers like the Polaris Centre or Fiona Blinko's here. So, there are service providers that can run these advertising campaigns for you and create content for you if you're time limited or perhaps technologically not up to it. You can do things that way. But I do encourage you, while you're smaller at least, to try to do this yourself, because it will come across as more genuine. And I think on Facebook at the moment, that's one of the most important things that you can do. All right?
Be authentic.
Be authentic. That's correct.
Mm.
That's correct.
Just got a question there, Mark, from Gary.
How do you identify? Well, this is probably more of a marketing question, and I'm not much of a marketer, but there's this idea of customer personas, which I quite like, which is to... No worries, Pippa. Thanks for coming along. It's good to see you. Which is to write a little short biography of your typical customer or a group of your typical customers. So you might write a customer persona that Mark, he's 49 and has a good amount of disposable income. His children are older and he's interested in cars, watches, whatever that happens to be. And, then you put yourself into his shoes and understand how much money he's got, when his free time is, what interests him and what motivates him. And in our business, we've written about 10 or 15 of those personas, and some of them are men and some of them are women, but most of them are men, most of them are older, and most of them have got no hair, and we know what makes them tick in our business. Yeah, Mike, there you go. Mike's our market. Yeah, plenty of room for growth. Yeah, that's right. That's how this isn't a digital marketing question, how you identify your ideal client. This is a marketing question. And for me, that's how I do it, is through this customer personas. But then there's, segmentation where you go, well, they're men and they're 31 to 46, and do it that way if you like.
Gary, it might be Gary. We've got Julie Laurie doing some. She's a marketing expert from the Marketing Box.
Yep.
So we've got her doing some workshops and one-on-one sessions with you as well. So jump onto the Polaris website, the events part, and book yourself a seat there if it fits. We're certainly trying to do those late afternoon, but the one-on-ones, we've got her slotted in for later this month as well.
I'm quite sure that she'd be super excited about trying to help you identify your ideal customer, because that sort of stuff gets marketers excited. Right. So have we got anything else, or are we're happy? All right. Well, as I said, I'll email everyone a PDF of the presentation. Please do follow our Facebook page. We have a weekly What's On post of all the workshops we're holding for the week. While all this COVID stuff's going on, everything is free. All of our workshops are free. What's not, you can't lose, really. If you can pick up one thing out of each workshop, then it's been well worth your time.
And Mark, you've got your digital coaching calling for expressions of interest for that as well.
Michaela, you're a champ. Thank you for following us after our first plug. We have a digital coaching program that, Gary, I love your background there. Good branding. We have a digital coaching program where 6 businesses get together once a month and sit through a bit of education from myself, and then we set goals or homework for the next month, and then we get together the next month. We talk about what we've managed to do, what went well, what went badly, what we can do to fix it up, and then we do a bit of an education session on the next topic. So we run through, local search engine visibility, websites, and social media. So they're the 3 things that we do. It's really sort of targeted at people that are, less than 5 employees. They're managing their digital platforms themselves, and they just need 2 things: a bit of education, and the other is to be sort of browbeaten by me to actually get some stuff done. I was a sole trader for a long time, and too many times I started doing things and I stopped because I got distracted. This is a great way, over a period of 3 months, of setting yourself a goal, a digital marketing goal for your business, and doing it. Because if you don't do it, you have to explain to everyone else why you haven't done it. And you don't want to do that. Not more than once. No,
so
once.
Yeah, Mark piloted that February, March and April, and it was really good.
Yeah.
And good camaraderie established amongst the participants, and yes, that group accountability from your peers.
Yeah.
Pippa.
Yeah. And it's free as well, so there's really nothing to lose. The only issue is I like to hold them at 7:30 in the morning. So.
And it's BYO breakfast, of course.
And it's bring your own breakfast, of course.
Well, we might be out. We might be back meeting face to face.
Yeah. If you were to come in here and do it in here face to face, we'd provide breakfast. So if you are interested, please, Sandra, you just want to send me an email. You send me an email and I'll save you a spot. Okay. If anyone else is interested, please let me know and I'll save you a spot. It's due to start on June the 9th, I think. Tuesday, June the 9th.
Tuesday after the long weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going camping.
Hey, very nice. Well, you have to come and umpire it, don't you, Mike? Or
Yeah, I do.
yeah. All right, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Well,
hope to see you in another workshop.
we'll be sending out a survey as well. So if your feedback is valuable to us, so please complete that. Got to keep our bosses happy. Thank you. Thanks, Mark.
Bye,
Great job.
everyone.